Afternoon, folks. This is Corey Babka from the Marks Group. Just looking at our normal tips and tricks webinar that we do once a month. This is the January tips, or actually these are the December tips that we're doing today. They were posted the end of November, early December. Took a week off in December 2018. We didn't post them up. We didn't do any webinars due to the holiday. And now we're just doing these a few weeks later. So right now what I'm going to do is going to go through those I'm going to go through those tips. We're going to walk through each based on that were posted, like I said, late last year. So we're going to do this here. Sorry, I'm going to actually spell correctly. So today we're going to cover 3 different tips. This is our Office 365 or Windows 2016 or I should say Office 2016, whatever you want to call it. But I'm looking at Office 365 right now. We're talking about the 3 tips for Office 365. One is going to be a little bit more tricky. It's more towards the Teams view, or the MS Teams, Microsoft Teams. And that's going to be quick commands and shortcuts is what we're going to do there. Then the earlier ones, we're going to look at some document statistics in Word. And then we're also going to look at the document inspector that I believe can be used it's available in Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. Going to show you how that works. It's an interesting one. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Okay, I'm going to open up a document of mine, just to open up this guy here. It's a big long document. Okay, we're going to enable editing. And what we're doing today is we're using the document statistics. Now, in the old days, I don't know where it was. It was always in like review or something like that, that you could see like the number of words. And you know, I always like this like check accessibility type thing, right? But it was always these pieces. Let me move this so I can close this out. There we go. And I know that, remember back in the day with college where you say how many words are in it, and you'd say, oh, there's 900. Like at least that's there now, right? But you can see there's your word count, and I just did that by clicking down there. You've got number of characters, spaces, blah blah blah, paragraphs, lines, etc. Right? Now what we're talking about today though is a little bit, it's a little bit more hidden, right? And that's what they've moved it. So now you go to File and you go to Info, right? And you can see everything in here, the properties, the number of words again, which we talked about that, how much time was spent, who last modified it, author was Justin. I didn't write this, so that's right, Justin wrote this one, right? But more so, there's the show all properties. And that jumps down a little bit more is what it does, right? And then from here, you've got in the properties area, let me see, show or fewer properties. There should be a properties there. This is what I want to look at. Properties, advanced properties, right? This is where you really get to what we just talked about. Okay, so that was one spot. Contents, all this summary, and we can change the summary around. But this is what was always very accessible in the early on stages, that you could put it right in the info tab, but now it's a little bit different, right? So these stats here, I'm getting to the number of characters with spaces, paragraphs, etc., right? And like I said, another way you can do it is just by clicking down in here and going boom, and there's your number of paragraphs and all that. So it is there, right? You can do the same thing in Excel. If I was to open up, I'm going to open up a, let's see if I can do, I'm going to see if I can find something here. I'll just look at this one here. So I do the same thing. This is a thing of mine. I don't have it in here, but if I go to Info, right, Properties, Advanced Properties, Statistics, you get what you can. It's not the same as what we were looking at before, right? But you can get to it as well. On the info side, it just says who did it, what it was, etc., etc. So Excel's a little bit different, okay? So let's move that one out. We're going to close this one out of Word. Don't save that. And we're back to my desktop. So other one would be the Document Inspector. So the Document Inspector is it's a wizard. As Megan wrote these, so I'm just kind of reading off hers, and she said to ensure your documents clean of hidden properties. That's very important if you're publishing or mailing, right? So a lot of things people worry about are XML data, macros, things like that, especially if you're publishing or if you're sharing out, okay? And people, in certain things, if you mail something that's got XML or macros, a lot of times Outlook will reject it because it's afraid that it's a virus, okay? So if we do this here, I just want to make sure that you're still hearing me and seeing me. Very good. Let's just go back to Excel. So if I go to this Excel file, which is a list of product prices and so on and so forth, if I go to File, Info, and Inspect Workbook, right? I can do Inspect Document, and then I'll run this, and you have your options about what you're looking for, okay? And I can do like ink and say Inspect. Now, what does it tell me? Well, it's got everything's kind of checked off. It's okay, but here it says document properties, author, absolute path to the note, the workbook, printer properties. That's all stored within it. So if I don't want this to be shared with anyone, I could remove this, and now it's gone. And now I know if I go to the info area where I was at, sorry, wrong one, this one. Now you look at the stats, empty, statistics, even the printer doesn't know the printer address, all that kind of stuff, right? It just doesn't know it. So this is very, very useful when you talk about, you know, different, like I said, publishing, if you're sending things out, comments, if there's comments out there that you don't want to go out there, all those things are very, very useful, okay? Beyond that, what we're looking for is the quick commands. So if I go to Microsoft Teams, this is the other one that we're looking at today, our third tip of the day. These are Microsoft Teams. I'm going to maximize my Teams here. So if I go to my chat, my Teams, right, more, there's all the different groups. Now, a lot of times what up here, what we're not seeing is the search, right? And it actually says, if I click in there, type a slash or an @ for a list of commands. This is what we're going to talk about today, okay, is the different things that you can do. So there's a lot going on. We all know the @ which is really, really useful. If I just want to do @ here, and then it says, oh, there's our different people. But I can do, you know, the people are easy. But I could say like @ weather and go here, and then we see what we've got, right? Find the current weather reports. I'd have to install that. That's fine. What else we got? @ news, okay? Stay up to date. If I want to do that, I can install that. So there's different pieces that you can do there, and you could just type in there and say search, and that's what you'll end up with. Places. Again, this is probably Bing Maps or something along those lines, so you can get it that way and just install those pieces. What I really like though is this. If I do a slash, see all this? So I can do all these things very quickly, and even though we're at the top of the screen, if I make this a little smaller, I can do this here, and I can say, you know what, I'm going to say slash busy, right? And then I set my stats to busy, and then I'm busy, and you can see the little red dot for me, and that's fine. But I'm going to do available, down wide open and green, right? So what's nice is when I click in here again, now my shortcuts are actually saved up there, so that's an easy one for me to do as well, right? And it kind of keeps it. See what else we can go into. So I've got my busy away, be right back. That's all fine, okay? I can chat with someone real quick if I want to do something. If I want to chat to Megan real quick, I can do this and say chat, and I'll say Megan, you know, there she is, and be like just testing. I would just do that, okay? And so we kind of work through this, and then we'll send to it, and then if I enter, I can actually go into the chat, and there she is there, and then she'll get to me, and away we go, right? So that's what we're looking at there. Just a quick note, you can also do, I know one of the ones that she did in her tips, we did wiki, and if I do this, it will just type a note, and it'll say, this is for my personal wiki page, right? And if I look at it, then it will show me where it is, and that's my personal stuff. Get out of this, chat, okay. And so we're back into here, and we will we'll take a look at this. And with our 3 tips, like I said, we will be back here next month. Same time, last Tuesday of the month in February. I think it's going to be February 26th, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, now it should be, let me see here, February 26th. We will be back. We will be doing, just to tease you a little bit, we're going to be going over, in this particular webinar, we will be doing, so she's already posted them up, default save location for OneDrive, hiding and unhiding chat in Microsoft Teams, and dictation in Word and PowerPoint, okay, which should be an interesting one. So we'll go through those. Those tips are posted now. Your newsletter should come out in the next week or so. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for attending and watching today. Bye-bye now.